Welcome to chapter 30 of the book of Proverbs. God teaches wisdom. The book of Solomon the Proverbs is considered to be written mainly by Solomon, the son of David. And we see here that God teaches wisdom. And if this first verse, the person speaking is Solomon, so be it. Doesn't give his name, but I'll read a little in the Greek and then we'll go through the verses. Thus speaks, Tadi legi o anir tis pistevusi theo, ke pavome, aphronestatos gar imi, apanton anthropon, ke phronisis anthropon ukestin in ami. Thus speaks the man to the ones trusting in God. Now that would be us. So he's directing himself to ones trusting in God, not to the unbelievers or the lawless ones. And now I will cease. So it's coming to an end. We have one more chapter after this. For I am altogether most foolish of men, and the intelligence of man is not in me. So he's saying that he is not intelligent, sort of almost the opposite of what this whole book said, but yet the key is a man is not in me. God has taught me Sophion, wisdom, and he will teach me and you wisdom. And I know the knowledge of the holy of the holies. Now, where did this all occur? We see in 1 Kings 3:7, it says, And now, O Lord my God, you gave rain to your bondman in place of David my father. And I am a small boy, and I know not my entering and my exiting. And your bondman is in the midst of your people, which you chose, a populous people which shall not be counted. And you shall give to your bondman a heart to hear and to litigate your people in righteousness, to perceive between good and bad. For this is what Solomon has asked for. For who shall be able to judge this weighty thing for your people? And the word was pleasing before the Lord, that Solomon asked this thing. And the Lord said to him, well, because you asked this thing from me, and you did not ask many days for yourself, and you did not ask for riches, nor ask for the lives of your enemies, but you asked for yourself understanding to hear judgment. So you didn't ask for wisdom. Behold, I have done according to your word. Behold, I give to you an intelligent and wise heart. So he's giving them in addition. There has not been one as you. Before you and after you, there shall not rise up one like unto you. And indeed, what you have not asked, I have given to you, even riches and glory, as there is not a man like unto you among the kings. Now, God has taught me wisdom, and I know the knowledge of the holies. Now, Solomon prayed to the Lord and asked for something, and the Lord gave it to him and more. And I believe that we are in the same position as believers. We can ask God for something, and God will give it to us if it's within His will. I ask for days to finish going through the Apostolic Bible Polyglot seminars and finish the whole Bible. Now, hopefully this is within God's will and it'll happen. But whatever you ask, I pray that the Lord would benefit you with the answer that you're seeking, that would help you walk through this world, this life with Jesus, and have the blessings that He has for you. Now he questions, well, who ascended into the heaven and came down. Well, we know Jesus did, but he had not yet arrived, another close to 1,000 years later. And who brought down together the winds in his bosom? Who bundled up waters in his cloak, and who holds all the extremities of the earth? What name is given to him? Well, we know it is, don't we? Jesus. Or what name to his children that you should know? And Jesus. For all the words of God are purified, and he himself shields the ones venerating him. Me, you. He shields us, puts a shield against the darts of the enemy. You should not add to his words, lest he reprove you, and you should become a liar. Now, there have been many attempts to add to the words of God, the gospel according to Thomas and the gospel of Peter and all sorts of books, and we have the Apocrypha, and are those additions to God's word? Well, you can decide. I know some of these are accepted by some churches, but others aren't. And then he says, 2 things I ask from you. Now, I believe this is in parentheses right here. You should not remove favor from me before my dying. Now, I don't think that's the thing he's asking. I think that's some heretical statement that continues that he shouldn't remove the favor before his dying, but it might be the first one. It's kind of hard to tell here. A vain and false word far from me to a point. That would be one. But riches and poverty you should not give to me, but order up to me the things necessary and the things to be self-sufficient. But he was richest, one of the richest men in the world. That I should not become false in being filled up, and should say, who sees me, or to be in need, that I shall steal, and I shall swear an oath by the name of God. Once just enough. You should not deliver a bondman into the hands of a master, lest at any time he should curse you, and you should be obliterated by the bondman. Now, where the 3 exactly are and stop, I'm not sure here, but I'm going through this, and you can try to figure it out. A bad progeny curses a father and blesses not the mother. So that doesn't sound like it's part of the previous section of the things. And a bad progeny judges himself as just, thinks he's doing the right thing, even though he's not, and washes not his going out or his exit, doesn't clean himself, is basically filthy in sin and actions. A bad progeny has lofty eyes, and with his eyelids he lifts himself up. These are all a progeny, I suppose would be a son or a daughter. A bad progeny has swords for teeth, and the molars as pruning knives, speaks and harms people, hurts people, so as to consume the weak from the earth and the needy of them from among men. So this person attacks people, the weak mainly. Now we get into a little bit of these 3 things, and then there's the 4th. So the 4 marvels. It's sort of a idiom, I suppose the Hebrew of how they would say these 3 things, and then there's the 4th. So there's actually 4. And it begins, there were 3 daughters to the leech, being loved in affection. Now, the leech is a blood-sucking, I don't know what it is. It's a little black thing. It's in the water, grabs a hold and sucks the blood out of, I suppose, animals and fish and humans if they're someplace where they're at and attach onto them. They use leeches in surgery sometimes to put the leech on places where they can draw the blood out where it would be too difficult for a surgeon to do. So this leech, little bloodsucker, there were things being loved. These three fulfilled her not, and to the fourth it was not sufficient to say enough. Hades and passion of a woman, and earth not filled with water, and water and fire in no way should say it suffices. And the eye ridiculing a father and dishonoring the old age of a mother. May the crows from out of the ravines cut it out, and may, then we'll jump over here, devour, the young of the eagles devour it. And there are three things impossible for me to comprehend, and the fourth I do not know. The traces of a flying eagle, and the ways of a serpent upon a rock, the paths of a ship passing through the sea, and the ways of a man in youth. So these are all tied into movement. The traces of the eagle flying, it doesn't know, can't comprehend it, or the serpent on the rock, or a ship going through the water, you can't trace it. The man, ways of a man in his youth, doing a lot of crazy things. Such is the way of an adulterous wife. Whenever she should act in washing herself, cleansing herself, she says not to have acted out of place. Thinks she's doing all right. Now, it changes here. By three things, the earth is shaken, and the fourth it is not able to bear. The first one, if a domestic servant should reign as a king, and a foolish one should be filled of food, and a female domestic servant, if she is cast out by her own lady, and a hateful wife, if she should attain a good man. Those are all things that are acting out of place, not normal, not good. There are 4 lesser things upon the earth, and these are wiser of the wise ones. The ants, in whom there is no strength. Well, I would disagree with that because they pick up things way bigger than they are, but, well, anyway, and they're small beings, and they prepare nourishment in summer. And the rabbits, ethnos, a nation not being strong, the ones making their own houses in the rocks. And the locust is independent, but she marches orderly from one word of command. And the newt, little lizard-looking creature, with its hand sticking to a wall and being easily caught, it dwells in the fortresses of kings. So those are the things, the lesser things on earth are wiser than the wise ones. And there are 3 which go prosperously, and the 4th which passes over well. Prosperous. A lion cub is stronger than the beasts, which does not turn away nor is struck with awe. Of any beast, and a rooster walking about among females confidently, and a he-goat taking the lead of a flock of goats, and a king delivering a public address to a nation. If you should let go of yourself in gladness and should stretch out your hand for a fight, you shall be dishonored. Extract milk, and there will be butter, But if you should pressure the nostrils, there shall come forth blood. And if you should drag out words, there shall come forth litigations and fights. They all have this pressure, extracting the milk pressure and pressuring the nostrils and dragging out words, pressuring out these words. They come out and they start litigations and fights. The last chapter is our next video seminar, the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, good instruction we end up with. Hope you'll join us in our next video seminar. Till then, God bless.